So feel free to wait.
Okay, now is it recording, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right.
Take a
Say
picture
hi.
of me with her.
We can take a picture.
Lauren, we have a float. Oh, I'm talking.
You're fine.
Lauren, we have a float. We have a
Why
float.
get her in the picture?
Salome is the float. There's 3 of them in memory, yeah.
They did that last night. It's all right. This won't take.
Okay.
No, it'll take just fine.
All right, tell me when you're ready.
Okay, you can put it on me now.
Okay.
Thank you. Alright, so my name's Hallie Barnett, and I'm here today to talk to you and give a tribute speech about Abraham Lincoln and fallen soldiers. So, as I was informed to write this speech, I was supposed to write a tribute speech, and my immediate thought was to give tribute to those that have served and sacrificed their lives for this country. And on this very day, in 1863, Abraham Lincoln gave the Gettysburg Address speech for the Union soldiers that were killed at the Battle of Gettysburg. As troubled times have continued to approach our country, it is important to look back at how far we've come and the lives that we lost to get here. In this speech, I would like to address the impact of soldiers, sacrifice, and those that fought, President Lincoln's speech, and why it's considered to be one of the best speeches and the encouraging words that President Lincoln has spoken. I feel as today veterans are often overlooked. They can be treated unfairly in the work field and do not get as much employment as they should coming out of war. This is often because they don't have as much experience due to war, along with other factors. They often end up on the street or are homeless because they can't get back on their feet. To demonstrate the importance of fallen soldiers, President Lincoln wrote the Gettysburg Address, and he said the purpose of a soldier's sacrifice is equality, freedom, and national unity, as cited online by HistoryNet, facts, information, and articles about the Gettysburg Address delivered by Abraham Lincoln. The Gettysburg Address was a short speech, no longer than 3 minutes. In those 3 minutes, President Lincoln was able to move thousands of people more than the hours of speeches that came before him. John Hay recorded in his diary that day that President Lincoln spoke in a firm, free way with more grace than in his wont, cited online by David Hirsch of Hamilton Savage Publishing. President Lincoln's speech is known as one of his most famous speeches due to his dedication of soldiers in Nation's cemetery. When President Lincoln had gathered with veterans, he asked them why they had fought. They all stated, "Men are created equal with certain unalienable rights," cited online by Federalist staff on thefederalist.com. Those words have continued to live to this day, as many still fight for rights that they feel have yet to achieve as a country. I'm not going to get into any political debates, however, many joined and sacrificed this day for freedom and equality, as I'm sure those in this room would serve again for. In the final words of President Lincoln's address, he states, "For these honored dead, we increase devotion to cause for which they gave their last filled measure of devotion," cited by David Hirsch. As for the soldiers that have fallen, it is important that we learn from them and the reasons of which they gave their lives to continue and pass on their sacrifices. Lincoln concludes his speech with the statement, "God shall have a new birth of freedom and the government for the people shall not perish from this earth," cited by Cornell University transcript of the Gettysburg Address. By the end of his speech, he believes he permeates encouragement and unity of the people. In essence, we all need someone to be there and stand up for us in our beliefs. As a country, we have soldiers who sacrifice their own personal lives for the better of those back home, in hope of returning to a place that was better than when they had left it. Abraham Lincoln not only made this clear in his speech, but he created a united nation under him. Not all of us are meant to withhold the bravery of those that have fought. It is difficult to put yourself in a position to do so. With that being said, I applaud and give my sincerest thank you to those that have taken time or lost their lives in battle for this great nation.
Very good.
Thank you.
Clap, 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 clap. Very good.
What's the matter with that?
That's it.
That's it.
Thank you.